On September 13, 2025, the boxing world will hold its breath as Saul Canelo Álvarez faces Terence "Bud" Crawford in a super middleweight showdown at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Billed as the fight of the century, this clash pits two of the sport's most accomplished pound-for-pound fighters against each other in a battle for the undisputed super middleweight championship. With Canelo's dominance at 168 pounds and Crawford's audacious leap from lighter weight classes, the question looms: can Terence Crawford shock the world and dethrone the Mexican superstar? Let's dive into the stakes, the fighters' credentials, their strategies, and why this fight is a historic moment for boxing. The fighters, titans of the ring. Saul Canelo Álvarez, with a record of 62-2-2, 39 KOs, is the undisputed king of super middleweight. The 34-year-old from Guadalajara, Mexico, has been a professional since age 15, amassing 11 world titles across 4 weight classes, 154 to 175 pounds. His resume reads like a who's who of boxing: victories over Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, Daniel Jacobs, Caleb Plant, and most recently, William Skull, in May 2025 to reclaim the IBF super middleweight title. Canelo's combination of power, experience, and ring savvy makes him a formidable force. His ability to adapt mid-fight, coupled with an iron chin and devastating body shots, has solidified his status as boxing's biggest star. However, critics point to his recent performances, described as flat against Skull and lacking the explosiveness of his prime, as evidence that he might be vulnerable. Terence Crawford at 41, 31 KOs, is a 4-division world champion and one of the most technically gifted boxers alive. The 37-year-old from Omaha, Nebraska, has been undisputed champion at light welterweight, 140 pounds, and welterweight, 147 pounds. And he captured the WBA super welterweight title, 154 pounds, in August 2024 against Israel Madrimov. Crawford's switch-hitting style, lightning-fast reflexes, and high-ring IQ make him a nightmare for opponents. His 2023 demolition of Errol Spence Jr. to become the first male fighter to claim undisputed titles in 2 weight classes in the 4-belt era cemented his legacy. Now, moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo at 168 pounds, Crawford faces the toughest test of his 17-year career. Can his skill overcome Canelo's size and power? The build-up, a fight years in the making. The Canelo-Crawford saga began gaining traction in 2023 after Crawford's masterclass against Spence. Fans and pundits clamored for a mega fight, and Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh, chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, made it happen. Initially announced in January 2025, the bout faced a hiccup when reports surfaced of Canelo negotiating a fight with Jake Paul, prompting Al-Sheikh to briefly suspend plans. However, after Canelo's victory over Skull in May 2025, Crawford entered the ring for a dramatic face-off, and the fight was officially set for September 13th. Promoted by Al-Sheikh's Riyadh season and UFC president Dana White's new Zuffa Boxing League, the event will stream globally on Netflix, a move that ensures accessibility to millions without the traditional pay-per-view barrier. The stakes, legacy on the line. For Canelo, this fight is about cementing his status as one of boxing's all-time greats. A win over Crawford would add another elite name to his resume, silencing critics who argue he's dodged tough challenges like David Benavidez in recent years. At 34, with nearly 20 years as a pro, Canelo knows a loss could tarnish his legacy, especially if Crawford outclasses him. For Crawford, the stakes are even higher. A victory would make him the first boxer to become undisputed champion in 3 weight classes, a feat that would vault him to the top of pound-for-pound rankings and etch his name alongside legends like Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. However, a loss, particularly by knockout, could echo Duran's post-Hagler struggles, as some analysts draw parallels to that 1983 fight where a smaller fighter moved up to challenge a middleweight king. The X factors: size, style, and strategy. The most debated aspect of this fight is the weight disparity. Canelo has been a super middleweight for 7 years, his body perfectly suited to 168 pounds. Crawford, meanwhile, is jumping from 154 pounds, a 14-pound leap that tests his ability to handle Canelo's power. Historical examples like Duran versus Hagler, 1983, suggest a smaller fighter can compete with elite skills, but Duran lost a close decision. Crawford's team believes his movement, jab, and ability to switch stances will neutralize Canelo's size advantage. ESPN's Andreas Hale argues Crawford's nasty streak could exploit Canelo's diminishing punch output, predicting a potential stoppage. An audacious claim given Canelo's granite chin. Canelo's strategy will likely center on his signature pressure game, cutting off the ring, targeting Crawford's body, and landing heavy combinations. His experience against elite opponents like Golovkin and Dmitry Bivol, despite the 2022 loss, gives him an edge in high-stakes fights. However, Crawford's ring IQ and counterpunching could frustrate Canelo, especially if he controls distance with his jab, as Bivol did. Crawford's southpaw stance, though not his natural side, might disrupt Canelo's rhythm, but some analysts warn that his tendency to get hit with straight rights in exchanges could spell trouble against Canelo's powerful right hand. The intangibles: age, wear, and motivation. At 34, Canelo is younger but has far more mileage, with 67 fights and a grueling career starting at 15. His recent performances, while victorious, lack the spark of his prime, raising questions about whether father time is creeping in. Crawford, at 37, has fewer fights, 41, and less wear, but his sparse activity, only 5 bouts from 2020 to 2024, could mean rust. Motivation is another factor. Canelo is fighting to protect his legacy and marketability, while Crawford is chasing history. Crawford's hunger to prove himself against a bigger name could give him an edge, but Canelo's experience in mega fights might keep him composed under pressure. Predictions: can Crawford pull it off? The boxing world is split. Canelo is the favorite due to his size, power, and experience at 168 pounds. His ability to absorb punishment and deliver devastating body shots makes him a safe bet for a decision or late stoppage. However, Crawford's technical brilliance and adaptability can't be underestimated. Analysts like Nick Parkinson of ESPN suggest Crawford could win on points by outmaneuvering Canelo, much like Bivol did. The X factor is whether Crawford can handle Canelo's power early and avoid getting trapped on the ropes, where Canelo excels. A knockout for either fighter seems unlikely, but not impossible. Canelo has never been stopped, and Crawford's durability is untested at this weight. A Crawford upset would require near-perfect execution, slick movement, precise counters, and stamina to survive 12 rounds against a bigger man. Why this fight matters. Canelo versus Crawford isn't just a fight. It's a cultural moment. It pits Mexico's boxing icon against America's technical genius, a clash of styles and legacies. For fans, it's the kind of matchup that reminds us why we love boxing. Two warriors risking it all for greatness. Whether Crawford shocks the world or Canelo proves he's still the king, September 13th, 2025, will be a night etched in boxing history. Get your popcorn and Netflix subscription ready. This one's going to be epic. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more content. Thank you.